Well, so next comes the other part of the narrative, which is unions are the problem. Well, apparently they're not they don't seem to be a problem in Massachusetts, Connecticut, and New Jersey because they have the highest test scores in the country. And I remember when I was in Finland, 95% of the teachers are in union with the principals. So that doesn't seem to be the problem then. Then we come to the reform idea of merit pay. If only we can pay teachers more to get higher test scores. Except that's never panned out because we've been trying merit pay again and again since the 1920s, and there has never been any evidence that merit pay program has succeeded. They come and they go, they come and they go because they don't work. And the most extensive test of merit pay was done in Nashville, Tennessee, by economists at Vanderbilt University. And they said, well, the reason merit pay has always failed is that the bonus was never large enough to motivate teachers. You know, those lazy people in the classroom who don't work enough. So they said, well, we're going to do something different in Nashville. And so they initiated an experiment with an experimental group and a control group. And one group was offered a bonus of $15,000 if they could raise test scores in mathematics. And at the end of 3 years, the study concluded that there was no difference between the two groups. The students did the same. It didn't matter about the bonus or no bonus. And my judgment was that teachers were doing the best they could. They didn't know how to teach any harder or better, and the bonus didn't make a difference, as it seems never to have made a difference with these merit pay plans. A couple of days later, the U.S. Department of Education announced that it was releasing $500 million for merit pay plans. So, you know, we're into an alternate universe here. Now, I would suggest to you, because it's really interesting reading, that you read Edwards Deming. Edwards Deming, D-E-M-I-N-G, was considered the guru of corporate reform, not educational reform, reforming business practices. And he was one of the leaders of the Japanese economic revival. And there have been a number of books written about Deming. One that I like is by Andrea Gabor, and it's called The Man Who Invented Quality. And in chapter 9, Deming talks about why performance bonuses are a very bad idea in business. He didn't write about education, but it had nothing to do with education. He talked about how performance bonuses destroy the collegiality, destroy the teamwork, destroy the collaboration, and they're a very bad idea. And I read this thinking, why haven't we figured this out in education? And why is it that teachers don't want bonus pay? It's because they know they want to be paid a decent living wage, and they should be. They want to be paid more to do more. They don't want to compete with one another for test scores because they want to be able to sit around a table and talk about the children that they're teaching and talk about how to help them. And bonus pay interferes with that. It says, you and I are in competition, we can't share our secrets. They should share their secrets. There shouldn't be secrets. They should work together, and bonus pay gets in the way. Now, the latest craze is teacher evaluation. And this all stems from the stories we tell ourselves. And the story is that the schools are filled with bad teachers. If we find those bad teachers and fire them, then our achievement would go up. It's another one of those insane ideas of our time. But the teacher evaluation problem is that we don't really have very good ways of determining. We don't have a metric. We don't have a measure. Evaluating teachers is very important. It should be done, but it should be done by experienced principals and expert teachers who go and see a teacher teach and see whether they can handle the classroom, see whether they're inspiring to their students, see what kind of student work is produced. But thinking that you can come up with a test score measure is rife with problems. You have one of the greatest experts in teacher evaluation on the Duke faculty, Sonny Ladd, who's here tonight. Professor Ladd came back from Finland, I think, just in the last 2 days, so she and I will have lots to talk about. But the problem with evaluating teachers by test scores is that the methods, and they vary one from another, tend to be inaccurate and unstable. and they change from year to year. A teacher who's rated effective one year may not be effective the next year because of the composition of the classroom. The teachers have no control over the composition of the classroom, and students are not randomly assigned. If teachers are judged by different tests, they'll get different ratings. In one study done looking at the schools in Houston in the state of Texas uses 2 different tests, and the ratings were different depending on which test you looked at. One of my colleagues at New York University, Sean Corcoran, did a study looking at teacher evaluation in New York City, and he said the evaluation system, which is being determined, will determine who's effective and who's not effective, has a huge margin of error. A teacher can be told that he or she is the 43rd percentile, but may in fact be the 15th percentile, or might also be the 71st percentile, all at the same time. So you would be quite accurate in saying that this teacher is either average, above average, or below average. All of these would be true statements. Something else that concerns me about the teacher evaluation by test score is that if students want to fire their teachers, they can withhold effort. So this method undermines the teacher's authority because the teacher actually has to win the approval of her students or risk that her students might fire her. This is crazy. Another of the insane ideas. One of my email friends is a highly rated principal in Long Island from a very outstanding school, and she's predicted a wave of litigation. She says the parents in her middle-class community will come in and sue the school because they only want the teachers rated effective. And she says, what do I do with the teachers who are in their second year who've been rated ineffective when no one wants to be in their classes? How can everybody be in Miss Smith's class when she's the highest rated teacher? And who is going to allow their children to be in Mr. Jones' class who is rated ineffective? And then she says she can see a lawsuit because Johnny didn't get into Duke. And it's all her fault because the child didn't have 3 great teachers in a row. So the reformers say that they want quality teachers in every classroom, but by their actions, they're driving out excellent teachers by constant criticism of teachers.